It's time to predict the scores for game week 29 of this 2024-2025 Premier League season. As you can see, we're in a different environment this evening. We're actually driving in the car. We're on our way to watch Cardiff City play against Luton Town in a massive clash in the EFL Championship. But this is all about Premier League predictions. Nathan's here.
Yep.
We're unavailable Wednesday, we're unavailable Thursday, so bring it to you in the car. And without further ado, let's just crack on with the predictions for game week 29.
First up, starting off with a 3 o'clock, which is rare nowadays in the Premier League. Yeah, when was the last time we went to one of those, even in the Championship? Everton against West Ham. West Ham narrowly losing to Newcastle. Mind, I was quite impressed with how Newcastle played in that one. Guimaraes getting a nice little tap in last night. Everton drawing up against Wolves, which you could say that's a bit of dent in Everton's form. Tricky to say which way this one's going to go, but I'm going to have to back the Toffees at home 1-0.
1-0, you've gone exactly the same as me, Nathan.
Yep.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory as well for Everton. West Ham, okay, they turned a little bit of a corner recently, but another loss at home, that's not a very good result for the Hammers, is it? And
terrible.
I think with a resolute defence that Everton have got, I think they'll sneak through this one with a 1-0 victory. Next up, we got Ipswich Town, the Tractor Boys, coming up against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, what an excellent result that was against Manchester City last weekend. It was a 2-1 win, wasn't it, Nathan? And Ipswich, okay, they narrowly lost against Crystal Palace 1-0. They've got to really start to pick up points, Ipswich, or they're going to be back down to the Championship. So, okay, it is in East Anglia. Forest currently in third position. That victory against Man City was excellent. I think they'll follow it up here. I think it'll be tight though. I think Ipswich will make it difficult for them, but I'm going to go for Ipswich 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Yeah, for me this is screaming of a Forest victory. Not the right time for Ipswich to be playing them, just to get a bit of momentum going. But yeah, whenever they're losing games, it's only been quite narrow, and they've looked alright in some as well. So I think for that reason I'm just going to edge it 2-0 to Forest. However, could potentially be more.
Jeepers creepers. That was a gritter.
Yeah, gritter.
Holy cow.
Typical. Why are they gritting so early anyway? Moving on, Man City, Brighton. Man City losing, of course, to Nottingham Forest. Not great there, is it? They're at the title race for me. And then Brighton getting a very, very good home result against a very good Fulham as well. So I think that's going to bring them in good stead. And I am actually going to back a stalemate here at the Etihad. So let's go 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, I think I've gone exactly the same as you in this one, Nathan. Man City, a little bit toothless, and to say that when they've got Haaland up front is
Mamouche
a little
as
bit.
well.
Mamouche, who started like a house on fire, but yeah, at home though, you've got to fancy them. Although Brighton, I think it's 3 or 4 wins on the bounce for the Seagulls, and I think they're going to get something here at the Etihad. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, exactly the same as you.
They are pushing for Europe again, aren't they?
Next up, we got Southampton coming up against Wolves, and Southampton are in real danger. We know that they're probably, well, they're all dead and buried, aren't they, these Saints? But they're in danger of equaling or being worse than Derby's record for the worst team in the Premier League ever.
I think if they get a win, they beat it, but if they can't win at all the rest of the season and they don't pick up draws, they're doing it.
Yeah, well, they got about 9-10 games left now. But Wolves, okay. Cunha's a big miss, as we know, because he gets amongst the goals and setting those with assists, etc. I quite like them going forward, especially their wing backs. I think Southampton will score against this Wolves defence, but I think Wolves will just sneak this one. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory.
Yeah, for me this is going to Wolves. I actually quite like what they're doing at the moment, even though it's not fully prolific. Southampton dead and buried for me, as you said, and I actually think they're going to break the record with Derby.
Really?
I just from what I remember with 07-08,
even though they did quite well against Liverpool. Was it half-time 1-0?
They did, but but Liverpool have been quite patchy themselves, haven't they? And it just hasn't worked under Juric. And when you have Russell Martin at the start of the season, it's just terrible. But yeah, I actually think if you play Southampton versus the 08 Derby team, Derby would actually win. So honestly, it's just a different level. So I'm going to go Wolves 3-0. Moving on, we got an absolute cracker in this one. Bournemouth up against Brentford. Bournemouth looked the much better team against Spurs when I was watching it as well. They were so unlucky not to take all 3 points there. Ended in Desmond's. And then, of course, Brentford narrowly losing to Aston Villa, who are on a bit of a resurgence and trying to chase back into European football as well. Absolute goal fest for me. I'm going to go Desmond's again, 2-2.
Desmond's, yeah. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go for a draw as well, but I think it's going to be spectacular, this one. I'm going to go for 3-3.
Wow.
Massive odds on that with the bookies, I expect. But last weekend, I think Son had a nice finish to equalise to make it 2-2. But Bournemouth should really have run away with that game. Spurs, they're so inconsistent, aren't they? And Bournemouth, okay, they entertain, play good football, but sometimes they do let a goal in now and again. And coming up against a Brentford team who can be free scoring themselves. Wissa always looks like he's going to score in each and every match, and Buemo, etc. And they've got a front five who are, they've got goals all over the place for the Bees, and that's why I'm going to go for this ridiculous scoreline of 3-3. Next up, we got Arsenal, the Gunners, coming up against Chelsea. Arsenal being held at Old Trafford 1-1, and they just didn't look good at all.
They were shocking.
But at least Martinelli, I think he came on as a sub against Man United, so he's got a few minutes behind him. That'll bolster them. Maybe he'll get a start in this one. I think they're in Champions League action as well on, is it tonight or Wednesday evening?
Yeah,
I can't quite remember. Coming up against a Chelsea side who really should have put Leicester to the sword. And Cole Palmer,
nowhere near it.
missing, a penalty, and he could have made it, 2-0 at least. And he was subbed off quite early for him, and he's going through a bit of a sticky patch at the moment, old Palmer, in front of goal, you could say. But in this one, I think it'll be tight. I think Arsenal will come through just in a 2-1 home win.
For me, I was really not impressed with the way Arsenal played against United. Both teams looked really poor. What was David Raya doing for that free kick goal? I think Chelsea are just looking so much better at the moment for me, even with their problems as well and how inconsistent they've been all season. So I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea for some reason in this one. Anyway, moving on, Fulham up against Spurs, all London affair. Now, Fulham narrowly losing, of course, to Brighton, who are on a bit of a resurgence and push for the top 6, actually. So can't really put that against them. Spurs, they didn't look great against Bournemouth, but grafted out a result. So it's going to be tricky what to say with this one. I'm going to say Fulham at Craven Cottage, however, have a bit more momentum going forward, and I've got issues with Spurs, so 2-1.
To Fulham?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually going to sit on the fence on this one, Nathan. I know it is at Craven Cottage, and the amount of attacking flair that Fulham can pull out of the bag is phenomenal, isn't it? Even I think Harry Wilson, is he injured still?
Yeah, he's injured.
He is,
yeah.
But the likes of Iwobi and Raul Jimenez, etc., will cause Spurs all sorts of problems at the back. However, with Spurs, you never know which way they're going to turn, and I think this is going to end up another draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 scoreline. Final fixture in the Premier League this weekend, because there is only 8 matches taking place, is Leicester versus Manchester United. Man United getting that point against Arsenal. And you wouldn't, in the past you wouldn't have heard this, but they were actually celebrating a draw against Arsenal, weren't they, those Red Devils?
Crazy.
fans?
Plus for me
Which
as well,
crazy.
which I should have said earlier, I think that has handed the title to Liverpool for me.
Oh, hands down, Liverpool won the title. They shoot themselves in the foot or do something ridiculously silly, then
just make sure it doesn't
theirs,
slip
isn't
this
it?
time, isn't it?
That's right. Don't slip. Yeah. But this one, Leicester, terrible. They're going to be back down in the Championship next season. So I'm going to go for a surprising 2-0 away win to Man United.
Interesting. I don't know why. There is going to be a massive shock this game week.
There normally is.
I have a funny feeling about Leicester. Even though they kept it narrow against a poor Chelsea side, Man United are looking so much worse.
Bad, aren't they?
And what is that absolute circus or a tent or whatever you call it, the new stadium that they're bringing in, which, quite ironically describes that club at the moment, which is an absolute circus as well. So I think in that regards, I don't know why, I'm going to give this one a draw, 1-1.
1-1. Wow. So those are our predictions for game week 29. But there is another massive match on the weekend, on Sunday I think it is, isn't it? The Carabao Cup final between Liverpool and Newcastle. Okay, Newcastle coming through with a very good victory against West Ham, 1-0, without a few of their players, you know, like likes of Gordon on a red card or suspended at the moment, Lewis Hall's out for the season, etc. So, that being said, I think Liverpool, okay, they are in Champions League action this evening. They got another huge match on the weekend. They're actually the holders as well of the Carabao Cup. I think it was it a 1-0 victory last season against Chelsea, if I can remember that far back. And I think they're going to retain it again for, I think it's the 10th time. I think they've won 9, haven't they?
Yeah.
If I can remember. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Liverpool in 90 minutes.
I don't know why, but I genuinely think Newcastle are pushing for a trophy now. They haven't won one in so many years.
Yeah, I think it's 1955, something like that. Last time they won.
It's first time in a generation this will be, and I think
about 3 generations.
Liverpool in cup finals, it always seems to be narrow, and especially when they are the outright favourites, they get taken to the sword. I know we've done it, of course, taking them to penalties when we should have won that game. Mind it was, albeit around 10 to 12 years ago, but Newcastle have to do it. This is their second Carabao Cup final in about 2-3 years. They're in desperate need of a trophy, and I think they'll be more up for it than Liverpool, so I'm going to go 2-1 to the Geordies.
Fantastic. Let us know your thoughts on the Carabao Cup as well, guys, as well as leaving your predictions over at the Superbru website or as a comment below. We're getting near the Cardiff City Stadium as we speak. Enjoy the Premier League action over the weekend. We're coming up to international duty as well. I think international duty.
Yeah, Wales.
So watch out for the videos for the Wales over on your channel, Nathan. Watch out for the vlog as well, coming on Wednesday or Thursday from this match this evening.
Absolutely massive tonight, isn't it? If you don't win. Oh.
Take care, everyone. Enjoy football wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling. Keep